Wind from the east, fish bite the least. That's the saying, right? Well, I'm going to put that to the test today. May not hear it on the microphone right now, but it is going to be gusting to 30 directly from the east, which is that way today. And I'm going to try to catch some walleye, pike, multi-species, whatever. Yeah, there's stuff blowing around. It's windy. I purposely went around a point. You can see I got some higher ground, big trees. It's somewhat blocking the wind. We'll start here. If I don't get any bites in a couple hours, maybe I'll move around the corner and brave the wind a bit. But let's see if they're feeding. I am set up just behind this point. The bay behind me is fairly shallow, and straight out, like not even 15 feet from that point, it gets down to about 40 feet. I'm in the transition. I'm jigging in 10 feet. That line's in about 12. Seems like a good spot. There is some current just around the corner, so if nothing happens here, I'll just make the move. And well, we'll see how desperate I get. I do have some marks on bottom. They're not much bigger than the lure I'm using. I'm using a 1/4 ounce Whistler jig with a 2.5 inch gulp minnow. I'm guessing some kind of bait fish, maybe a smaller perch, but that's okay. That's gonna attract the bigger fish. I am using a live minnow on the jaw jacker, and you know the only time I use live bait is when I'm fishing for keeps. So any good looking legal walleye, pike, even larger perch, I'll be keeping them. Oh, I got robbed. Hopefully it's not a school perch. They're notorious for stealing your bait and not getting the hook. Unless it's like a foot-long perch. That'd be okay. I'm glad I'm protected here, but if the action doesn't pick up, I might have to go face the wind. I would rather be uncomfortable catching fish than comfortable not catching fish, if you know what I mean. That's what I'm here for. Gotta get some bites. Huh. Probably can't see it. There's a wolf crossing the lake right there. A lone wolf. I'm gonna smell my lunch. Oh, it sees me. Oh, it's gone. Bye-bye, wolf. Wind from the east. Does it really shut the fish off? So far, it looks like it's possible. Could also be the location, time of day. I did start at 11 o'clock in the morning, pretty much midday. That could be a factor. I've never really caught a lot of fish here. I've caught a few pike, but just around the corner, around this point in the other bay, there's some current and better structure. I've had good success catching multi-species over there, walleye, perch, bass, pike, everything. So in a little bit, I'm gonna make the move. The audio might suck. It is a warm day, so I'm not worried about getting wind chill or anything like that, but it might affect the audio on the camera. But it is what it is. I'm here to catch fish, so unless I start getting a bunch of hits right away, I'll be making a move. Oh, no sign of life. I think it's time to make a move. Time to face the wind. Woo. Back to fishing. It's going to be a little more noisy over here, but that's what the video is all about, right? The wind. Wow. That way is east, in case you're wondering. It's going that way. I drilled another hole to change the angle a bit. Now the wind is at my back. Hopefully the audio is a little better. Oh, there's a fish. You gonna bite? Hey, a fish. It was a pike. So pike will bite in an east wind. What about walleye or perch? New plan. I got my auger. I think what I'm going to do is drill a bunch of holes all over the area. I'm starting to wonder if the wind, the east wind, the pressure change, what it does is it just makes fish inactive. They might still feed, but they're just not moving very much. So instead of waiting for them to come to me, I'll try to go to them. Oh, fish on. Oh my god, it feels small. Perch. Figured. Woo! Got a fish. Yeah. Look at that. East wind, perch. Oh wow. I'm actually gonna keep this little guy. Get a handful of them. It's a tasty little meal. Wow. Now that there are some clouds moving in and the sun's a bit of a lower angle, the wind is starting to feel a little cold. I might walk up to my truck and grab my hoodie just for some extra insulation and wind blocking. It's still blowing from the east tomorrow, but not as strong, and it's supposed to be cloudy, rainy, so I might come out here for a few hours after work, see if I can add in a couple more fish to my perch. Don't worry, that little fishy won't go to waste. It just needs some friends for the frying pan. Oh. Swing and a miss. Perch. Now those perch, if they don't get the hook just right, they just steal the bait every time. One of these times could be a walleye, or a pike, or a bass. Well, I got maybe an hour of fishing left. The wind is still blowing from the east. It was a slow day, so that old theory might have some merit to it. I don't think I'm going to conclude the video just yet. I think I'm going to come out here tomorrow after work for a few hours, see if I can add a couple fish to that perch. But yeah, so far it's looking like east equals least. There we go. Got you this time. Got you this time. Oh, a little dink walleye. That's okay though. Oh, it's so small. Barely bigger than the perch, but I'm fishing for food, so. So I definitely think some walleye moved in. I caught that little dink, maybe 12 inches long. And I've had a couple marks come in, inspect my jig, and just stare at it, not bite, so. I don't know if it is the conditions or what, but they're very passive right now. Any other day you'd think they would just smoke it. Oh, there we go. There we go. This feels a little better. Still small, but bigger than the first one. If I have to have a limit of little guys, so be it. Am I gonna get one more, or do I have to wait until tomorrow? Let me give it a couple more minutes, then finish packing up. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's in the transducer. Another little guy. What the heck? Oh well. Maybe I'll get one more. Just a little guy. But allowed 4. If that's what the lake is going to give me, that's what I'll take. Wow. Those trees are still rocking. Wind is supposed to die a little bit, but it's still pretty strong. Oh yeah, sun setting. Yeah, I got some little fish, but I spent the day outdoors. It's nice. Got to see a wolf. That was pretty cool. And I could come do this all over again tomorrow. It's the next day. I came here after work. It's not as windy. In fact, it's fairly calm. Conditions are still miserable. Light rain. Let's see if the fish will bite in this. Hey, did I say light rain? I think it's picking up. Whatever. I wonder if something a little bigger is going to show up today. Do I feel bad about keeping some 11-inch walleyes in a perch? Yes and no. I mean, I like to keep 15, 16 inchers, but when I'm fishing with live bait, I'm always fishing for keeps. So as a sustenance fisherman, I'm just gonna take whatever nature provides. If the action was really good, I'd be able to pick and choose which fish, but 3 little guys, just think of them as walleye that identify as perch. Because nobody would bat an eye about keeping perch that size, right? They're just perch-sized walleye. They'll be very tasty. Oh, fish on. Feels decent. That is a ginormous perch. A lot bigger than the one I caught yesterday. And you are food, buddy. Nice. That thing's probably bigger than the walleyes I caught yesterday. Or same length, maybe a little heavier. Do you think a solar eclipse would affect the fishing? The 2024 eclipse happened like 1, maybe 2 hours ago. We didn't get totality here, but about 70% coverage. It got dim for maybe an hour. Couldn't really tell. You couldn't even tell where the sun was because of the clouds. Oh. That looks perch. That's not a walleye. Another nice one though. Another one for the pile. At least the perch are biting. These fish are just finicky. You might be able to see my mark on top. I'm using a little tungsten on my panfish rod because I figured these fish are small. Why go big, right? But I can't even get a hit on a little tungsten. That is bizarre. And I've had fish come in all day. I play them for 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, then they just swim off. Like that one just did. Like lockjaw. These fish are not active. Oh. Just got hit. I got a hit. Just had a hit in that far hole over there. We got a fish on? Okay. Little walleye. I was just skipping holes. I got a hit over on that far one. So I was gonna move my jaw jacker over there. When I went to pick it up, I got a little walleye. Add that to the pile. Sweet. Well, that was a grind. That was some tough fishing, I'm not gonna lie. One telltale sign that the fish weren't active was the fact that I got almost all my hits on the live bait, on the live minnow. When the fish are feeding well, like when they're hungry, a lot of times I outfish the set line 9-1 while I'm jigging a lure. They love to chase, they'll hit right away. You know, when they're active, you get a mark, you put your lure there, and then bam, you're expecting the hit. It's so slow today that I'm getting marks, I'm putting my little tiny lure right in front of their face, and I'm not even expecting a hit because I've had so many turn away. What are your thoughts on the whole east wind, fish turning off? Does it have something to do with the weather other than the wind? Like, obviously the barometric pressure has a lot to do with it. I did notice I was catching small fish, no big fish today. Is it species? Certain species will maybe feed more in certain weather. They're not as picky. The day before yesterday, I was actually targeting jumbo perch, and that day there was a wind well over 30 kilometers an hour, all from the east. The weather's been blowing from the east for the last few days. Anyway, I went to my favorite perch spot where I've never caught less than 40 perch. I caught one all day. So the perch, I did mark a few, obviously had lockjaw because they weren't eating. But the trout were. That day, I ended up catching 15 splake. Consistently all day long, the wind did not deter them. So I wonder if certain species that could tolerate pressure differences can handle the winds. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hopefully there's some experts out there that have done some research. So in the future, we don't have to waste our time on days like this, right? Oh, it's never a waste when you're in the outdoors. I suffer from this condition called full-time jobitis, where I can't always pick the best weather or the best lunar phase for the fish activity, right? If I get the day off and I'm free, that's the day I'm going fishing. I don't care what the predictions are. I don't care what the lunar phase is. I'm going fishing. So I just want to demonstrate in this video that you can tough it out and catch some fish and enjoy some outdoors when the weather's bad. Till next time, cheers, tight lines. I'm going to be wearing my buff today. I was out all day yesterday. It was another sunny day. You know, sometimes you forget that the sun can be powerful. My skin on my face felt a little bit red, a little bit warm yesterday, so I opted for the buff, you know, safety first. Don't want to get skin cancer.